The KXAN News Podcast is sponsored by Shelf Genie.
During your Thursday morning headlines, the Los Angeles County Sheriff says it is investigating so far, no connection to the Monterey Park mass shooting suspect to any of the victims. A man on Saturday shot and killed 10 people at a dance studio. An 11th victim died at the hospital from injuries. Vice President Kamala Harris met with some of the victims' families yesterday.
According to the Austin Business Journal, a local startup known for 3D printed homes, Icon Technology is laying off employees. The company did not go into specific numbers. Icon is already working on a 3D printed neighborhood in Georgetown. Late last year, the company also landed a contract with NASA for space-related construction tech.
An asteroid the size of a delivery truck will pass by Earth tonight. It could be one of the closest encounters ever recorded. While NASA insists there is no chance of it hitting Earth, it will barely miss us. Some people in Austin are waking up in some of the cold shelters that the city put up this morning. Good morning, everyone. A good thing that they're in those shelters because the temperature dropped below freezing overnight. I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Erica Brenes. It's unclear if the shelter will be back open again tonight. Meteorologist Kristen Curry joins us. Temperatures expected to just remain cold again today and tonight, right?
Yeah, I would say cool this afternoon, but likely getting back down close to freezing overnight. Many of us there this morning, not quite downtown Austin, but we're close enough to where I think it is a very valuable thing to have those cold shelters open here in the city. Looking at what's happening on clouds and radar, not a whole lot. We stay dry today with a clear sunny sky. Palms car wash camera shows no fog issues either along 183 or really anywhere here in Central Texas. Temperatures though, 35 degrees up in Georgetown, 28 San Saba, 30 Fredericksburg, 31 Mason, 32 in Blanco, with temperatures at that freezing mark across most of our eastern counties. So again, it is a chilly to cold start no matter where you are. Temperatures running a good 5 to 15 degrees colder than where we were yesterday at this time, but we're going to rebound back into the upper 50s, very similar to what you felt yesterday. So a cold start and a cool finish. We're still running a little bit cooler than normal for the end of January, but 58 degrees certainly going to feel a lot better than what's out there this morning. So parents, make sure those kids are bundled up before heading out to start their school day. Coming up in your first morning forecast, another very cold night ahead. We've got a wetter pattern though taking shape really starting this weekend and continuing through the first half of next week, and that's aided by a pair of cold fronts. So we'll talk about what our temperatures are going to look like with the flips that we've got coming our way and just how much rain we could see in the next 6 to 7 days. Those details here in about 10 to 15 minutes. Sally?
Thank you. Austin City Council is holding its first meeting of the year today. And one of the agenda items will look at how much Austin water customers pay.
Council members will discuss its cost of service rate. The utility studies its rates every 5 to 7 years to evaluate how much it needs to charge.
And utilities are top of mind right now, right? Austin Energy last year issued 2 rate hikes for customers.
One went into effect already, and then another goes into effect in March. In total, there are more than 80 items on the agenda today.
All right, keep you updated on that. And Austin police say a gas station clerk charged with a murder in the shooting death of another man did not act in self-defense.
But his family and his customers, they think otherwise. KXAN's Brianna Hollis looked in depth at how self-defense plays out in the courts.
Friday, I can take you out right here. How you feeling this evening?
Come here at least like 2-3 times a day.
Not every other day.
It's not often you see a Shell station as a staple in a neighborhood.
Everybody in that store, when you walk, they know your name.
I think everybody's shocked on what's happening right now.
Shocked to see clerk Yasin Nas in an APD mugshot. Police say a man started pushing employees and it turned into a fight. When he got injured during that fight, he got out a knife and swung it at Nas and another clerk. Police say he then destroyed store property and left, which is when Nas shot Marquise Demps multiple times as he sat in his car. Nas told police he thought Demps was going to his car to get a weapon. APD says they're not investigating this as self-defense because Demps was, quote, no longer posing a threat.
Generally speaking, a person is justified in using force and even deadly force when and to the degree they reasonably believe it is immediately necessary to defend themselves against another's unlawful use of force or even deadly force. The question, though, is when is it reasonable?
Criminal defense attorney Alan Bennett says law enforcement will sometimes deem an act self-defense after an initial investigation, but if not, that's up for the courts to decide.
Self-defense is never an automatic position to take. Rather, it is a defense that is raised by the accused in order to justify their conduct. It comes down to whether or not a jury is convinced.
Until the case moves forward, Naz's friends continue to process.
It's just wild how, things happen and how it took place. He's not that type of person at all.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
APD says what Naz told them about the fight was different than what the security footage showed. Police are not releasing that video to the public at this time.
St. Edward's University police, they're looking for 3 men accused of smashing the windows of 23 cars on campus yesterday morning. We have snapshots from the campus surveillance cameras showing the men and the truck that they were in. The cars were inside a university campus garage on Woodward Street near the softball field. University police say the men took items from those 23 cars. St. Ed's PD is now adding more surveillance cameras and says it is increasing patrols. The new phase of the Southwest Airlines investigation, what investigators are promising will happen.
After a tornado earlier this week, how you can help with the recovery effort in other parts of Texas.
Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, January the 26th, wrapping up already the month of January. We're going to take a look at your weather with Kristen coming up in just the next few minutes. But first, let's talk about the families of the victims killed in the 2 Boeing MAX 737 plane crashes. They do plan to speak during an arraignment today. A federal judge in Fort Worth ordered the company to report to court to be arraigned on federal criminal charges.
346 people died in 2 MAX 737 crashes, one in Indonesia in 2018 and one the following year in Ethiopia. Families of some of the victims said the government violated their rights by reaching a settlement with Boeing without first notifying them. Last year, the federal judge ruled that families are crime victims under federal law. The judge said they should have been consulted before the Justice Department agreed to a deal. The agreement with Boeing was a $2.5 billion deal to avoid prosecution over a fraud conspiracy charge related to the MAX 737's flawed design.
Well, there is a new phase of the Southwest Airlines meltdown investigation. The Department of Transportation is now questioning whether company execs, quote, engaged in unrealistic scheduling of flights, which under federal law is considered an unfair and deceptive practice. And during the Christmas and New Year holidays, Southwest canceled thousands of flights. It slashed around 2/3 of its daily schedule. This was after severe weather hit, and passengers were left stranded and scrambling to find other ways to get home. It also caused a huge mess with baggage for travelers. The federal agency said that it will ensure Southwest is providing refunds to its passengers.
The new bill aimed at discipline in school and how it can help kids with mental health needs.
And how you can be part of the conversation to find solutions for those experiencing homelessness in Austin.
Longhorns brought the D in their Red River rivalry game at Moody. Texas and OU on the women's side coming up.
This KXAN News podcast is brought to you by Shelf Genie. I'm Rosie Newberry from KXAN Studio 512. Considering replacing your kitchen cabinets? Struggling to find or reach things? Go to shelfgenie.com/Austin. Shelf Genie designs custom pull-out shelves for your existing cabinets, adding convenience and value to the most used room in your home. Shelf Genie custom pull-out shelves, everything in reach.
Good morning, friends. Another live look outside to start off your Thursday at our camera over at the Palm Car Wash. Kristen is back with a check on your weather in a bit, but let's check out what you're doing in Kyle, because if you're living in Kyle right now and you really need to go to Costco, you do not have to drive too far anymore. The wholesale giant is opening up a new location there in March.
It'll be near I-35 and Kohler's Crossing. The retailer is expected to bring in hundreds of workers. That area has several other businesses moving there. According to the Austin Business Journal, like Chipotle, Spoon and Fork, this is making me hungry, Thai Kitchen, Crust Pizza, and Black Rock Coffee. Need some coffee too. As egg prices continue to climb, one Austin business is seeing more customers flock to them. Just in the past month, chicken services business Coop saw a 20% increase in people requesting its Intro to Chickens 101 class. Coop's founders told KXAN they want to localize food sources and make backyard cooping more accessible to Central Texans. They said this latest egg shortage makes that mission all the more important.
People are paying attention to this, and they're really realizing that if maybe they were growing their own food and they had their own chickens in their backyard, the egg shortages would not be as a big a deal to them personally as consumers.
Coop is set to officially launch in the Austin Metro this spring.
This reminds me of some warnings that we used to get from the local and federal government about how you shouldn't snuggle with your chickens because
yeah,
that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. I know, I'm so sorry, Erica, but snuggle from afar, love them from afar.
And I know we do these stories about raising your own chickens, and I'm sure HOAs everywhere are like, the heck you are putting a chicken coop in your backyard.
No thanks.
Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here, because it's cold for you and it's cold for your chickens outside. We are looking at a clear sky this morning. We don't have much across the state as of this moment. We're in between storm systems, and it's going to take about a couple of days. We're about 48 hours out from our next disturbance. Rock and Dirt Yard camera there in Buda. We look good. It's clear, it's dry, it's chilly. We're currently sitting at 37 in Austin with northwest winds at 3 miles per hour, humidity at 82%. Temperature wise, we're sitting in the 20s and 30s everywhere you look. So it's a cold start to the day, colder than yesterday. You want to make sure you've got that jacket with you. The nice thing is, I say nice because I'm not a fan of the winds. The winds are going to be much lighter today, but with lighter winds overnight, we see colder morning temperatures, so that's the trade-off. Day planner says those 30s warming to the low 50s by lunch. Forecast high today, likely to come close to about 58 degrees, sunny and dry all day long. You don't have to worry about the rain gear today. Leave it at home. Forecast temperatures area-wide, everybody in the 50s, but here's your warning. Tomorrow morning likely to be even colder than what we've got out there today. I'm seeing everybody in those 30s as we wake up on Friday. In fact, I think downtown Austin, you're going to be even a little bit colder than what this high resolution model is showing us. Likely to get down to about 34, which means the majority of the area is going to be at 32 or colder. Let's talk cloud cover, because starting tomorrow, we're going to see an increase in that moisture, mainly cloudy skies for the back half of your Friday. Overnight Friday and Saturday, here comes our first disturbance, giving us the chance of some rain, and then we'll likely see a cold front here trigger even a few isolated thunderstorms, but rainfall potential continues for the first part of your Sunday. A brief dry out late Sunday, and then another chance of rain come Monday, Tuesday, and again on Wednesday. Now, most of this is very light in intensity. We'll see if we can get the 2 to 3 inches that this model is showing by next Thursday. I have a feeling now we'll probably range between about 1 to 2 inches along and east of I-35. That's a brand new update that just came in. So we're still kind of working out the details as to how much falls out of those showers. But it's upper 50s and sunny skies today, low 60s with more cloud cover tomorrow. We've got rain chances starting on Saturday, continuing Sunday morning, brief dry out, and then you'll notice as rain chances continue as we get into next week here. A couple different cold fronts going to keep a lid on our warm up too. We go from 70 down to the upper 50s Monday, Tuesday, even cooler on Wednesday. Overnight lows will be in those 30s, 40s, and 50s for the next several mornings. An update for you, homes and apartments in the Houston area. Well, they look like open dollhouses after an EF3 tornado swept through Deer Park in the Pasadena area. It carved out an 18-mile path on Wednesday afternoon. This is just some of the latest damage we're seeing after the storm. I want to show you another perspective of the destructive tornado too. Just rows of homes with a lot of damage and houses that still have walls but no roof, and they're covered with tarps. The dogs at Pearland Animal Shelter are shaken but safe after that tornado ripped off their roof. Volunteers across the region working through the night and early morning to find them new homes. Not 24 hours after the incident, all are accounted for.
This is what the community has done. They walked in here, started giving us crates. We're very, very grateful.
The recovery has only just begun. Local leaders are now asking any Texan who can lend a hand to donate to Precinct Together. It's a nonprofit of Commissioner Garcia's county office. Maybe step up to your part if you can.
Kristen, thank you. You know, Texas is going to play a larger role in building roads on military installations in the state. Governor Greg Abbott signing an agreement yesterday afternoon for Texas and the U.S. government to work together. And it comes after state lawmakers passed legislation in 2021, creating a partnership between the Texas Department of Transportation and the Department of Defense. The goal is to build roads faster and cheaper.
In Texas, we support our military, period. And today, we are delivering on that commitment.
Well, the legislation had bipartisan support. House Democrats Lina Ortega and Ray Lopez were listed as authors. A Liberty Hill family hopes to keep others from the same loss that they are experiencing. Their teenager son taking his own life last fall.
KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez has their story and looks at a new bill aimed at discipline in school that could get children the help they need.
He was turning into this really big social butterfly.
Amanda and Will Crossland say last September they noticed a change in their normally happy teenage son, JC.
By the time he said something to Will, to us, it was too late.
Sadly, JC ended his life last fall. His parents devastated.
It's really, really hard. It's really, really hard.
Experts say behavioral health services in schools can catch signs of mental distress and even prevent suicide.
I help oversee a team of 13 social workers and one coordinator of social work. Some students, no fault of their own or anything, might be struggling or needing extra support. So if that's anxiety, depression.
Dr. Amy Grosso started Round Rock ISD's program 3 years ago. She says services like this and breaking the suicide stigma is crucial.
And research shows the more we talk about it, the more students are able to get the support they need.
This session, state lawmakers are considering a bill that would expand behavioral support programs at schools. Senator Charles Perry of Lubbock says he intended the bill to crack down on disruptive behavior in class, but learned it could have other benefits.
At the end of the day, we've got to develop another vehicle, another facility, another process to actually deal with those behaviors. It's all related.
While the state looks for mental health solutions, the Crosslands are sharing their grief on social media.
There's so many people that are saying, I'm getting therapy now. I reached out to my mom. I reached out to my dad. JC created a change and he has no idea. He has no idea.
In Liberty Hill, Mercedes Hernandez, KXAN News.
If you do need help, please go to our website, KXAN.com. We now have a better idea of how well schools are following the state's safety directives, with the Texas School Safety Center releasing its fall intruder detection audit yesterday. It launched unannounced random inspections on campuses all over the state. This was after the school shooting in Uvalde last year. Nearly 3,000 campuses were audited between September and December. Inspectors at 95% of schools did not gain unauthorized access to the campus. 72% did not require any corrective actions, but about 28% needed to make some changes.
A local cemetery will soon be a more peaceful and quiet place. Starting next week, after years of holdup, dozens of trees will be planted in the Austin Memorial Park Cemetery to cut down the noise from Mopac. This is right near 2222 in Mopac. The Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority announced the project will begin next week with planting trees and an irrigation system. The total project will cost more than $580,000.
Weather permitting, this is about 2 months worth of work. We've got to go out there, install an irrigation system, plant all the trees, connect the power, connect the water, make sure all the permits are in hand, and the contractor will take care of that.
This is a story KXAN investigators first started looking into after issues with a $1 million price tag. CTRMA said regulation required that it build a sound wall to protect neighbors with the expressway expansion. You can check that out right now at KXAN.com under the investigation section.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning to you. Texas women taking on Oklahoma. Tops in the Big 12, third leading scoring team in the nation, and Texas came to play a little defense at Moody on Wednesday night. Longhorns the steal right out of the gates. Shaylee Gonzalez the feed to Deanna Gaston. She had 19. Texas opens up a 10-point lead. It was a 4-point lead at the half, and then they put on an absolute defensive show in the third. Rory Harmon, the steal, Shaylee Gonzalez, the bucket. OU goes 1 of 17 from the field, scoring 6 points in the third. Sonya Morris knocks down the three. Longhorns outscore OU 21-6. Vic with the "Hey Rory" score at the end of the quarter signal right there. She does. Horns up 19, and they would continue to pour it on. Taylor Jones, 16 points. Texas now tied for first with a most impressive performance.
When you go play a team like that and do it the way we did it tonight for 40 minutes, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of them. I mean, it's really hard to do, y'all. Our kids just went out there and really, really played their guts out, and I thought we took them out of a lot of things they wanted to do. So it's a great win for us. On to the next one.
By the way, that's 3 consecutive home wins over ranked teams. The next one, Oklahoma State Saturday, a team that put up 86 in a win over Texas back on January 7th. Back to you.
Thanks for joining KXAN News today. You can also listen to KXAN News Nightly every weekday after 5:30 p.m. for in-depth coverage on what matters most to you.